Someone has just someone has just made me laugh. But that's not the reason why we're here today. Hi, first of all, I didn't greet. So hi, how are you doing? I hope you're enjoying your weekend. What has brought me today is a serious matter that I feel like we are supposed to have a conversation about. And yeah, but first of all, I need to thank you guys to send in feedback about the podcast. It means a lot when you listen in and you share feedback, because I have days, I don't know how this works, you guys, but for some reason, every time, okay, not every time, most of the times when I feel like I am really spent and almost feeling derailed from the right course of the podcast, people send in feedback, like moving feedback. If you're asking yourself questions like, is this worth the try anymore? And you get a message from someone you barely talk to, someone you haven't maybe heard from in 2 years, and they're telling you, hey, your podcast is giving me life. Dude, do you know what that means? I don't know how this works, but it has happened to me a lot. I can't explain. I wish I knew, but I think for me, what happened to me, I think, was it yesterday when I got feedback about episode 104. Thank you, Jerisha, for sharing your feedback. What happened in that moment was like, I think this is a sign that this is what I'm supposed to keep doing. Because how does this really happen? You don't talk to someone for like a year, 2 years, and they're like, hey, I listened to your podcast. You're like, you do? You do? And you're doing great. Ah, man. But that's not the point. Yes, the thank you is important for me to pass. But Jerisha shared her feedback about episode 104, and I had to rush back to find out what it's about. And I found that it's about conflict resolution. And I feel like it's very important for us to have these conversations on conflict resolution, because we are really poor at conflict resolution or management. Terrible at it. We don't listen. We don't want to hear any other person's opinion. The moment someone shares a different opinion from what we desire, we go nuts. We go nuts. And I don't know if this is something that stems from our African setting, where you find that a kid cannot express themselves from with a point that is opposite from their parents. In every possible way, they are silenced, they are pressured to just keep shut. If you have emotions that you want to express and they're the opposite of what your parents desire, shut up. I don't know if that's where it comes from. But now we have people with guns. People that do not have the same views as ours are now shooting at us. The bodyguard who killed his boss, and few days later, a blogger gets shot. And few days later, we are seeing a police officer killing his moneylender. There are a couple of people servicing loans, various loans. But that's not the way how things work. If you're losing property, because it happens, I'm not going to say it's easy. It's not. But it happens. Find a middle ground. Have a negotiation. Figure out a restructuring with this money lender if they can. If they can't, it's not the end. Hey, I would have said it's not the end of the world, and it is indeed not the end. We've seen people that have brought themselves up from loss of property in mortgages, and they come out of that loss. You might not really come out of it, but there is a lot more to your life that you can do than just choosing to kill someone because you owe them money. It doesn't work like that. When you have a conflict, resolve it properly. Right now, I feel extremely unsafe. I feel like, hey, who is going to shoot me next? When I see police officers with guns and they're next to me, I want to keep looking in the corner of my eye, like, hey, I might offend this guy. He might call me and I don't respond, and he just, cocks the gun and starts shooting at me. This is not how we should live, man. We need to find better ways of dealing with our negative emotions without having to kill each other. we're about to start the Mental Health Awareness Week. It is about to start. It's happening next week. And there's so many messages I might be leaving you saying, hey, you need to think about this. You need to think about that, because there's a lot we have to be thinking about when it comes to mental health. And one of the things that I would want to leave with you today is a call for you to learn how to manage conflict, because it's one of the ways that, excuse me, it's one of the ways that one can improve their mental health. It comes with a respectful tone in negotiations, active listening, and every positive ways of engaging with someone. Please, please, let us not be thrown into a position where we have to be looking over our shoulders, wondering how safe we are in some situations. Please.